Okay. Okay, should we start?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think we can start.
Okay, any of the devotees are joining. Yeah. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuh Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वॉल्यूम इज सफिशिएंटली ओके ना मिस नॉट स्लो yeah from here it's about full
Yes,
yeah
Prabhuji, audible.
audible okay
It's okay, good for
good okay thank you Prabhuji so welcome all the devotees for the Bhakti Shastri discussion on Bhagavad Gita, second unit. So I like to wish everybody have very auspicious and happy Sharad Purnima. Very auspicious day actually. That today we are going to start the seventh chapter, and tomorrow also we are having very auspicious month starting. Is our Kartik month. I think it's everybody's awaited month. Kartik month, offering lamps and going for some yatra or chanting more. It is awaited by everyone, I think. Yeah. So, so I was thinking that before starting the seventh chapter, let's see if we are able to start today. But we will uh, continue a little bit more introduction and take some input from devotees about what we learned in the last session. If they have any questions or anything to ask. Okay. Any devotee who was not there in the last class and they don't know what was discussed? Anybody who was miss? Okay, Mataji is there. Okay, Prerna Mataji. Anybody else who is not aware what was discussed in last class? I'll summarize a little bit. Harsh Prabhu. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. Anybody else who is joining first time like today and last class? He doesn't know what at all was discussed. Okay. Okay. So two devotees are there. Okay. Prabhu, okay, you made me co-host now. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So actually, we discussed in the last class about the introduction to the series of 7 to 12 chapters. First, we discussed actually about the importance of quoting from Shastras. Okay. And we were discussing in the last session one PPT where we had quotes from Srila Prabhupada. And we discussed in that how Srila Prabhupada is very much focusing on the importance of quoting from scriptures and not introducing our own uh, anuman and our own pratyaksha, but just sticking to the shabda praman. So last class we were discussing that. So I think all devotees have got the PDF file of this.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have posted in the group.
Yeah. Okay. It was posted. Yeah. So we were discussing this, and then we discussed how Srila Prabhupada in various places he says that how we can accept Shastra as the highest, and anything which is not in line with Shastra, we should be very careful to check it with the Shastra. And we discussed that Srila Prabhupada says many places, and mainly he said about people who are not quoting in line with Shastra, and then he says many other things that it is not parampara. So one or two for those who were not there in the last class. So Prabhupada is saying in this quote, somebody has said like this, some Mahatma says like this. This is not valued argument. Valued argument is when you quote from the Vedic literature. That is valuable. Ved Praman, Shruti Praman. The Shruti Praman is accepted amongst the authorities. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the acharyas. They write comments on any authoritative book. Immediately they will give quotations from Vedas to support his comments. Otherwise, a personal comment has no meaning. If I comment on some Vedic literature on my personal point of view, it is useless. It has no meaning, but it is going on. Oh, such and such person. Like that, two more quotes he gave. And then he said that even Lord Krishna himself, actually, he quotes from the Shastra. So he told from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, shloka number 5. Okay, Brahma Sutra Padayashava Hetu Madhuri Vinishite. So he is saying even Krishna, he is God himself. He is speaking. He is giving reference to the Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra, like that. Okay. So without reference to this Vedic literature, anything you speak, it has no ground. Shruti Praman, that is Vedic culture. Shruti Praman. It must be supported by Shruti. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will find whatever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he immediately gives reference or evidence Shruti Praman. Okay, so this is what we discussed last time. And yeah, then second half we were discussing about the flow of the Bhagavad Gita, right? So I want devotees to share a little bit what we discussed in the last session, so that we can go ahead in this session. So whatever you remember, you have made notes, you can please share from the last session. Whoever wants, they can start sharing. They can raise their hand and share. We'll try to do this thing in the every class, that whatever discussed in the previous class, we'll be discussing in the beginning. Devotees will be sharing. So please prepare some notes. And if you're able to remember everything, that also is okay. But if you make notes, it will be helpful. So you can share. And it will also help those who could not join in the previous class. So I want at least few of you to share. Yeah. Okay. Prasanna Gopal Bro, would you want to share something?
Yes, Prabhuji, but just like you went through us through the Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's Gita Subodhini's
Yeah.
introduction of 1 to first to 6 chapters, and that was a very good recap, and then we could recollect the things together, and also we touched to the seventh chapter introduction, the what is there in the seventh chapter, and in between, like when we're discussing the first to 6 chapters, we discuss about a little bit like more details about each chapters also, which we could remember at that time. So that was the portion we discussed, but we can discuss it now. We have decided to discuss it 7 chapter onwards.
Yeah. Anybody want to share specific about chapter 1? What is specific in chapter 1 discussed? You can tell anything from previous class or wherever you heard from. What was
Hare Krishna.
specific in chapter? Yes, bro.
Like it starts with a question of Dhritarashtra, and then Arjun goes, Duryodhan goes and analyzes the army, and after that we see that then everyone blows their conch shell to start like as a sign of the starting of battle, and in that we have studied earlier that how already before the battle there were so many signs which showed that Pandava will be victorious. And in that you have taken in the last class you have taken one question. One Mataji asked that what was the how was the flow because we understood that Sanjay was there in the battlefield till 7th day, till 9th day and 10th day he goes back, and then he starts speaking this what happened, what was happening in the battle, and what has already happened to Dhritarashtra. So this thing we have discussed from the first chapter,
Yeah.
and there were 4 reasons that Arjuna told not to fight.
Yeah. Yes, 5 reasons. Yeah, but 4 are in first chapter, correct? Yeah. So second chapter, somebody want to say what is the theme of second chapter and what he mainly discussed?
Can I tell you?
Yes, please.
Okay, in the second chapter, like once Arjuna got lamented and he expressed his indecision in front of Krishna. Then Krishna started from 7th verse onwards after Karpanya Dosho. Krishna started giving the Atma Gyan. It is also called as a Sankhya philosophy, like details about the body and the changes in the body and the how the body is perishable and how we should not, and it's a covering, basically it's covering only, just like we change the cloth daily, it is like body will be changed. So all the body and atma, this difference between the body and atma was discussed, so that Krishna wanted to make Arjuna to clarify whether what is the actual reality of what we are seeing in front of eyes, and that like basic he wanted to clear, and then further once the Sankhya philosophy is given, then in third chapter Krishna
No,
start
second only. So, yeah, third
okay.
somebody else will share.
Yeah. So that way, like
Yeah, thank you
Sankhya
very much.
philosophy and Sthita Pragya also Krishna discussed a little bit about Nishkama Karma Yoga. But later on, the third chapter onwards, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga will be discussed further as you will take in it.
Okay. So third chapter, anybody want to share what specific theme was discussed? Yeah, somebody want to share?
Prabhu, in third
Yes,
chapter, we talked about karma yoga.
Yeah, little 1 or 2 sentences you can tell, Mataji, about that. Whatever you remember.
Yeah, acts in devotional service.
Action in Krishna consciousness, correct? Yes. Yeah. So, okay, anybody want to add in that third chapter? Yeah, Prasanna Gopalpur, you were saying something about third chapter. You want to say?
Yes, so third chapter it is Karma Yoga, but so Krishna specifically emphasizes Karma Yoga, like it is said in Karma Yoga is predominant is action. So in this, actually Krishna tells about the how the Karma Yoga is better than the renunciation. Okay, and the premature, it is also said a premature renunciation is also not good, because it has the person may prematurely, if he renounces, then there is a chance of falling down. It's better to perform action as it is natural also, and it is nobody can escape from action. Everything has to perform action, for just breathing also, just to maintain the body one has to perform action, so it is natural. But about that Nishkam, he Krishna emphasis on the Nishkam Karma Yoga, and it is and also the Lord says that you can renounce also, but renouncing, but to you should perform action to just set example, just like previously different people has perform just to put an example in front of the society. So just to set a right example, Krishna asks him to perform action, and that's what he emphasizes about the performing action rather than renunciation premature.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very elaborately you described. So almost you covered the whole chapter. Actually. Yeah, thank you. So I want others also to participate.
And I have that question.
Okay, no, it's better if you can recollect from memory.
Yeah,
Whatever. Yeah, it's good revision. Yeah. So thank you, Prabhuji. Anyhow, Prasanna Gopal Prabhu. So fourth chapter, anybody else? I want other devotees also to participate. Yes, Prabhu, Harsh Prabhu.
Prabhuji, can I share something about the third chapter?
Third, already lot we discussed, Prabhuji. Fourth chapter, if you want, you can say fourth. Fourth, fifth, or sixth, which one you want to speak? Fourth is okay, you can tell fourth. Otherwise, somebody else we can.
Prabhu, can I tell about fourth?
You spoke, Mataji, na, about okay, fourth. You want to tell more? Okay, no problem. Tell. Yes.
In fourth chapter, we saw the parampara system, where Krishna tells whatever the knowledge lost, that knowledge we gave parampara se aata. Secondly, in that chapter, Krishna tells why I decided that why he decided in this.
Correct. Yeah. Anything else? Fourth chapter. Okay. Somebody else want to add? Those who have not spoken. We have many other devotees. Arun Prabhu is there. Nagnajiti Mataji is there. Jayashri Mataji is there. Prerna Mataji is there. Aruna Mataji is there. Many other devotees are there. So whatever fourth chapter, something second part. First part Dipali Mataji shared. Whatever you remember, you can say, or you can see your notes. You have made some notes, you can tell. Okay. So please remember, every class we will do like this. Whatever discussed in previous class, I will ask again in the beginning. So devotees will be sharing like this so that we have a revision. Okay. So please make a habit of making some notes or sharing in the beginning. Yeah. So fourth chapter, second part, somebody want to share?
Prabhuji, can I share?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Harsh Prabhu. Yes.
Prabhuji, in fourth chapter, second part, Krishna says about how we can surrender to the spiritual master. Krishna says that Tadvidi Pranipatena Pariprasnen Sevya Updekshanti Te Jnanam Jnanina Tattvadarshina. That just try to surrender unto that spiritual master and try to serve him, and because they have seen the truth. So Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to approach a spiritual, bona fide spiritual master.
Yeah. Okay. Fifth chapter, anybody want to share? What was the question of Arjuna? He was again into problem, right? He was again thinking whether I should take sannyas or do karma. He was confused. So what was the focus of fifth chapter then? And what Krishna advised him? Did he tell him to take sannyas?
He said outwardly you can do actions, but inwardly you should be have renounced like approach, and that is action in Krishna consciousness. So there it comes karma sannyas, and one more one more term was there.
Karma
So
sannyas, karma yoga, these two.
so yeah, he says that like outwardly you can do actions, but from inside you should be like have this mentality of sannyas, and that is action in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anashrit karma phalam, that term he uses, that don't be dependent on the fruits of your action, be detached from the fruits of your action. And he explained Nishkam Karma Yoga, and then detail about Gyan Yoga also he explained. Okay. Sixth chapter. Okay. Anybody else? Those who have not spoken till now, sixth chapter.
Prabhu, I would like to add about fifth chapter.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Krishna also spoke about equal vision. Equal vision, that means Shunicheva Shopakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So equal vision does not mean to treat everyone equally, but at the same time, material hierarchy should be taken into consideration. And the chapter ends with Bhaktaram Yajna Tapasa Shanti Sutra. So one who who is situated in Krishna consciousness, he has that conviction that Lord is only the best friend, and when he is convinced, then he is at peace.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, 6th chapter. Somebody want to share who has not shared till now? Okay, Yamuna Vilas Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in the 6th chapter, Krishna is explaining the different stages of Ashtanga Yoga, and the goal of Ashtanga Yoga to meditate on the super soul. And then Arjuna is describing it is very difficult to perform this all Ashtanga Yoga, meditate on the soul. I mean, it's very challenging. And we also understood that how it's applicable, how it's impractical to perform all these different yoga system in this current age. And then Krishna at the end of this 6th chapter mentions that who is the topmost yogi, one who always acts in devotion to the Lord, and yoginam api sarvesham madgatan atmanam shraddhavan bhajate, who with faith performs devotional service. He is considered to be the topmost yogi. So Krishna concludes with that, the 6th chapter.
Yeah. So he basically described the 2 stages of Ashtanga Yoga, Yoga Rurukshu and Yoga Rudha. Yeah, and then he concluded with Bhakti Yoga is the highest. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. So this was the flow of 6 chapters. So there is a flow chart here. I don't know whether it's properly visible.
Maybe if we can zoom, project.
Yeah, it is PPT. Okay, I'll just try to zoom.
Prabhuji, I think this PPT was not shared.
No. This PPT was shared till here. Basically.
No, Prabhuji, this was not shared.
Acha?
Yeah, the summary of chapters. Only this... I think. Let me check. I think I remember this one was.
Okay. I remember sharing it in Drive.
Oh yeah, yes. Sorry, Prabhuji. I just thought it was
there. Okay. Yeah. So this we discussed last time.
Yeah.
Where we had discussion about
until
this Bhishma Parva. We had Krishna speaking to Arjuna.
Yes.
Then later we had Sanjay speaking to Dhritarashtra after 10 days. Right. And then we discussed how the next Vyasampayana, he spoke to the sage Janmeja. Sorry, Vaishampayana sage spoke to Janmeja. And that is quoted, this whole conversation above is quoted by Suta Goswami while narrating to Saunaka Rishi. Right?
Yeah.
This we discussed in the last class.
Yes.
So, yeah. So 4 loops are there. Suta Goswami is quoting what Vaishampayana is saying. Vaishampayana is saying what Sanjaya said. And Sanjaya is saying what?
Krishna told to Arjuna.
Yeah, Krishna told to Arjuna, correct. So this is actually one sense parampara also what we understand. Whatever Krishna speaks, that comes down. So these are the 4 loops of Bhagavad Gita which we studied. And there was one mistake in explanation. Actually, this akurvat word which comes in the first shloka, Kim akurvat Sanjaya. Actually, that akurvat I said is past. It is in Sanskrit, it is not this point yesterday, but it is not today. Okay, just I'll make that correction. Okay, this is not this. Okay, this is not today. Like today in India now it is like almost 12 o'clock. So just 1 minute. So what we say before 12 o'clock, whatever happened, that is past. Correct. So akurvat is not today's past. It is past of yesterday or day before yesterday or like that. Okay. So in Sanskrit, there is differentiation between the past of today. Before 12 o'clock, whatever happened is past for today also, but that is not called akurvat. Okay, so there is different word in Sanskrit. Okay, different lakar is there. So details we will not go, but understand that Kurvat word when Sanjaya is told by Dhritarashtra, he is meaning what happened almost 10 days ago. Okay, so technical explanation is there of that. So we'll not go into it, but just understand it is not the past of today. So this conversation of Sanjaya speaking to Dhritarashtra is not happening on first day of the war. It is happening on the 10th day of the war. Okay. And from 10th day onwards, Sanjaya is describing in the Mahabharata, Bhishma Parva, like that. Okay. So that we have discussed. And then structure of Bhagavad Gita, we have discussed about the how Bhagavad Gita is like the jewel box. Okay, and it has two sides, three sections. Middle is Bhagavad Gita, side is Karma Yoga, and the last 6 chapters are Gyan Yoga. So all that we have discussed. Yeah. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Then we have discussed about the first 6 chapters that all of us already discussed, and 7 to 12 chapters also. We actually discussed the flow. Okay, so now I was just taking the last 2 slides of this, which were remaining in the last session. Okay, that was yoga ladder. Okay, which and then these three pics are there. So is it visible, Yamuna Vilas Pro and others? Like I don't know whether this is visible.
Prabhuji, the texts are very small. I mean, at least for me, it's not.
Yeah, it's very small, na? Yeah. How is it now?
Because individually, devotees can zoom in their mobile. Like you don't need to zoom from.
Acha, they can
Yeah.
zoom in their mobiles, huh?
Like.
Okay, how is it now? Not readable.
It's good, Prabhuji.
It's okay, Guruji, now.
It's okay. Oh, okay.
One
So
box you can highlight too.
yeah, that's right. So basically, this is in the uh, pictorial view, whatever we discussed in last class, but a pictorial view. Okay, so Arjuna observes the armies in the first chapter and becomes overwhelmed by compassion for relatives and foreseeing no enjoyment. Basically, he gives the reasons not to fight. And then Dhritarashtra becomes hopeful of not losing the kingdom for his sons. But Sanjaya describes how Krishna inspires Arjuna to fight. Okay. And then chapter 2, as all of you told, Krishna is describing the summary of Bhagavad Gita. He describes the Karma Yoga, he describes the Bhakti Yoga, he describes the Gyan Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, whatever. These all he describes in summary. And Buddhi Yoga, he introduces a term which is translated as Nishkam Karma Yoga also. Okay, and the definition of Nishkam Karma Yoga, we'll see little more detail of this term today. Working with detachment and knowledge. Okay, just remember these two words. So whenever this Nishkam Karma Yoga word is going to come, remember these two words, detachment and knowledge. Detachment from what? Fruits. And knowledge of what? Knowledge of Atma. Okay. Knowledge of Atma, detachment from fruits. Okay. And then we discussed the quality of Sthita Pragya. That Sthita Pragya is a proper Gyan Yogi, advanced person who is into Gyan Yoga, like that. Yeah. And then 249, Krishna had told about the Sthita Pragya and renunciation is better, like that, all that he had said. So Krishna is asking, sorry, Arjuna is asking if renunciation is better or what? 3.1. That is Arjuna's confusion. So then Krishna says in the 3rd chapter, as all of you told, Karma Yoga or action in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna's focus is so much on the Nishkam Karma Yoga. And he says Krishna prescribes action based on Nishkam Karma Yoga rather than premature renunciation. So if you remember last session, we discussed about premature word. Correct. So can somebody tell what example I gave about premature renunciation? How is it not correct? And I gave one example of premature renunciation from Bhagavatam, Shrimad Bhagavatam. I gave one example, Canto 1. Anybody remembers? Something related to Pandavas. Almost everything I told. Yeah, Pandavas, they retired, right? First canto, 15th chapter, I was saying.
The word timely, the word
Yes.
timely is used before.
Yeah,
Retirement.
yes, yes. Okay, yeah. So timely. Pandavas retire timely. So they are not renouncing the kingdom just like that. When Krishna departed, then they understood now we should also depart. So they are not doing premature renunciation. Premature renunciation, another meaning is doing renunciation even though there are desires in the heart to enjoy sense objects. Okay, very simple to understand. And then he is saying even if Arjuna is qualified for renunciation, he should still do Nishkam Karma Yoga and set the right example. And does anyone remember what examples Krishna quotes in this chapter for inspiring Arjuna to do his karma?
Yes, Prabhuji. Janak Maharaj example.
Yes, yes, yes. Janakadaya, he says. Who else he tells in example? Somebody else can share. Whose whose example he gives?
His own example.
Ah, yes, yes. His own example he gives. Yeah. So lust is a format, and then later he says because actually this sannyas, karma sannyas, those who take, there is always a danger of falling to lust. Okay, so he explains the power of lust actually. And then Krishna presents transcendental knowledge by which one can be protected from the bondage of lust. Okay, so we have to know why the next chapter is being spoken. What is the link? Otherwise, we'll just read Bhagavad Gita and forget after 1 month again. Okay, so we'll not remember why which chapter was spoken. So there is always a flow in the book. So here you see third chapter Karma Yoga described how one can purify his heart. And then Krishna says, okay, for lust to be conquered, you should know about me. And then he speaks about the transcendental knowledge. So he says transcendental knowledge descends from Krishna in disciplic succession. Knowing the divine nature of Lord Krishna's appearance gives liberation. Okay. Janma karma chame divyam. Evam yovetti tattvataha. That shloka he quotes. And karma can be understood on the platform of jnana, and one can attain jnana through yajna. So you remember the cycle of food cycle was described. Does anyone remember the yajna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Ah, yeah. That cycle, whole cycle is described. That how rains come and then food grains come and then how living entities it becomes. All that thing is described, right? Okay. And then next chapter link is given. Krishna spoke of attaining peace by jnana. Okay, in 4.39 and renouncing karma by jnana in 441. But again, asked Arjuna to take up to karma in 442. So Arjuna again asks about renunciation and action. Okay, which one is better? So again, Krishna answers in the 5th chapter. Again, he explains Jnana Yoga, but this time he explains in detail. In 3rd chapter also he explained Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, but there was more explanation about Nishkam Karma. But 5th chapter he explains more about Jnana Yoga, like that. So Krishna says they both are equal because they both give the same result. What is the result of Karma or Jnana? Anybody can say what is the result of performing Nishkam Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga? What is the result?
Spiritual enlightenment.
Liberation.
Liberation.
Yeah, spiritual enlightenment and then finally liberation. Yeah, what you're saying is correct. That is intermediate. Yeah. So finally, he will attain liberation by having Jnana Yoga like that. So then he says Nishkam Karma Yoga frees one from bondage. One can attain liberation by focusing on the Supreme. That's what. Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga give liberation. That was the last verse Krishna spoke. So then he says, having mentioned about Ashtanga Yoga in brief, Krishna now describes it in great detail. So 6th chapter he will say, Dhyana Yoga, we say it or we say it as Ashtanga Yoga, he describes, has 2 stages, Yoga Rurukshu, beginning, and Yoga Ruda, that is advanced. So he describes that how one should sit in Ashtanga Yoga in a not very high, not very low place, and how eyes should be placed on the nose, mouth closed. All that things you remember, right? He described. And then at the end, Arjuna asks, oh, what will happen if such a person is attracted by sense objects due to the lust in his heart and he falls down? Then what will happen? Will he be like a raven cloud who gets detached from a big cloud? What will happen to him? So then Krishna says, no, he will not be lost. Even an unsuccessful yogi is given another opportunity. Correct. Purva abhyasene teneva hriyate avashopi saha. Jigyashu Shreya bhi api. And then he says, Shabda Brahma Ati Vartate. In his next life, he will not be attracted to Karma Kanda. Okay, but he will get attracted to the wherever he left from. And then in 6.647, Krishna says that Bhakti the highest form of describing, see, Nishkam Karma Yoga he described in 3rd and 5th chapters. Jnana Yoga he described more in 5th chapter. 6th chapter he described about Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. And then at the end he says that Bhakti Yoga is highest, and that we are going to start with the 7th chapter. Okay. So I will share this with all devotees. PPT. Okay. So there is a topic of yoga ladder. You all must have studied, but here it's given in summary. I will just share this and then go to the introduction. Okay. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So this is yoga ladder as described in Bhagavad Gita. So the Bhagavad Gita presents the path of yoga as a ladder with multiple rungs to reach the Supreme Lord Krishna. Rungs means levels, right? There are multiple levels by which one can reach to the Supreme. This yoga ladder that begins from the lowest material condition of the jiva. What is the lowest material condition he is saying? That is said as karma kanda. Correct. You remember those verses that Nistraya Gunya Bhava Arjuna. Correct. Overcome these flowery words of Vedas. Correct. Yamimam Pushpitam Vacha Prabhadantes Arjuna. Like that he says. So he says that the words of the Vedas many times are very flowery and they give results of Swarga and other enjoyments. But they are for those who are in the lowest material condition, he is saying. Okay. So Karma Kanda then gradually actually comes to Sakama Karma Yoga. Correct. So we will see what is the difference between Karma Kanda and Sakama Karma Yoga. So Karma Kanda is basically a materialist. Okay, who has no conception much of God in his life. And then later he gradually gets purified and comes to Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay. And rises up to perfect self-realization in pure spiritual life. Okay. So from mental condition, he'll go gradually into yoga. That is Sakam or Nishkam. Srila Prabhupada writes, what he says, yoga actually means bhakti yoga. All other yogas are progressions toward the destination of bhakti yoga. Correct? So what happens? Nishkam Karma Yoga actually gradually progresses towards Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga gradually progresses towards Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga brings one to Bhakti Yoga. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Okay. From the beginning of Karma Yoga to the end of Bhakti Yoga is a long way to self-realization. Correct? It takes many, many lifetimes. Karma Yoga without fruitive results is the beginning of this path. So what is the technical term for this without fruitive results? Karma Yoga without fruitive results. What is the technical term for this? Nishkama Karma Yoga. Just 1 minute. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. So as all of you said, it is called Nishkam Karma Yoga. So Nishkam is what? Without fruitive results. There is no kamana or no desire of fruitive results. Okay. But what does he want? He wants something. Okay. What it is, we will see. Okay. So it is the beginning of this path. Okay. So when Karma Yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation. So this knowledge, you remember I told one word, that is Atma Gyan. In the second chapter, this was spoken. Okay. What was spoken? That the Atma is non-destructible. It is not. It doesn't take birth. It doesn't die. All those things were spoken, right? And renunciation. This is about Jnana. the okay. The stage is called Jnana Yoga. Yeah, here it's mentioned. Okay. So when Jnana Yoga increases, this is from Srila Prabhupada's purport to 647. Okay. So when Jnana Yoga increases in meditation on the super soul by different physical processes and the mind on him, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. Okay. Which also Prabhupada titled as Dhyana Yoga, right? For the same purpose. Because it has what? Increment of meditation. And when one surpasses the Ashtanga Yoga and comes to the point of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, it is called Bhakti Yoga. So what change happens? He accepts the worship of this personality. Okay. Okay, worship of the personality. I mean, he understands now more that he is the object of my worship as well as he is the object of my whole sadhana. Okay, I want to attain him. Okay, so that will become more clear in the 7th chapter, first verse. Okay, where Prabhupada is going to explain about the yuj dhatu. Yuj dhatu. What is that? Yukta. Samay yukta tamo mata. What is the meaning? Okay, that is the culmination, Bhakti Yoga. Actually, Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal. But to analyze Bhakti Yoga minutely, one has to understand these other yogas. Okay, so which other yogas Prabhupada is talking about? Can somebody tell? What are the other yogas Prabhupada is talking about here? We have to understand Bhakti Yoga only. What is the other yoga Prabhupada suddenly talking about? What we have to understand?
Yes, same Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga, which is included.
Yeah. That's what he's talking here. He's talking about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. These all other processes we have to understand. For what? To understand and analyze Bhakti Yoga. That is the purpose. Okay. So sometimes you may think, oh, what is the use? Anyhow, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, we are not going to practice. These all are not important. We want to do only Bhakti. So if that is the case, then why did Mother Devahuti in the Shrimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 28th chapter onwards, almost 5 chapters, why does she ask about the processes of, mainly Jnana and Ashtanga, mainly these two, Karma is not much. Yeah, and why Kapil Dev has to spend so much time explaining these two? Ultimately, Kapil Dev is going to bring her to Bhakti Yoga. So there the Acharyas write a very important point that unless we understand the other paths, we cannot practice nicely our own path. Okay. So it is said the intelligent person knows others' path as well as his path. Okay. So what I said, intelligent person knows others' path as well as his path. What is the problem in knowing our own path only? If I know my own path, Bhakti Yoga, that is sufficient because Bhakti includes everything. So one who knows Krishna knows everything, right? So what is the problem in saying that if I know Bhakti, I know everything? Or I don't need to know any other yoga? What is the problem with that? Yes, okay, Yamuna Vilas to Mataji. Yeah?
Can I say?
Okay, who is speaking? I don't know. 2-3 people are speaking. There is problem with my. Okay, yeah. So Prasanna Gopalpu and Yamuna Vilas. Yamuna Vilas can speak first. Yeah.
Proji, one reason is because the faith, like our faith should not be shattered, by any time in the future. Like by other paths may also offer some results, like let us say future results, and also our faith should be not be shattered, or it should be very much fixed up. For that, we should know other paths also. so that
Correct.
we understand, oh, the path which I am following is best.
Correct. Yes, very good, very good. Yeah. Yeah. Next is Prasanna Gopal Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, actually, when we follow Bhakti Yoga, then, if we don't know about other paths, then we may, like while performing Bhakti Yoga, also somebody may be following like on the platform of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Ashtanga Yoga, but he's thinking that he is following Bhakti Yoga. So that knowledge used to be there. What is clear, like what is other yoga activities, and what is Bhakti Yoga, so that he can follow his own path. That is one thing, that he will know his own path well, and he will not be like following the other paths unknowingly. And other way, like it may happen that if he is not confident, he is not confident about his path, and he may get attracted to the other paths. And if he doesn't know, even if he may think that Jnana Yoga means like peace, in Jnana Yoga he may feel that there's a peace, from the disturbance, so he may get attracted. But if he doesn't know the end result of the Jnana Yoga, then he may get diverted and he may start following that, and then he will end up in the after some years, or then he will know that this is Jnana Yoga, and I did mistake that
Yeah.
that path, and for the sake of so-called peace, and that
Yeah.
temporary peace, that way, because there are many institutions who are following
Yeah.
Jnana
Yeah.
Yoga. They are very attractive.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are very attractive. But if we don't know their end result, and they will also say that the same philosophy, detachment, atma, body, everything is same
Yeah.
stage. But if you don't know the end result, then there is a chance of getting trapped there. So that's why we should know their end, like of course that is Jnana Yoga, that is end result, that we should know. That's how we should other paths.
Okay, good. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Jai Shri Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Actually, my points are similar to Prasanna Gopal Prabhu. Even though we are following Bhakti Yoga, maybe due to some course of time, or maybe Maya is very strong, we can change our path, or we can divert while following Bhakti Yoga. If you know that about other yoga, it may be helpful to again rejoin this Bhakti Yoga or something.
Rejoin Bhakti Yoga. Okay.
Rejoin,
Okay.
or yes, to continue our
Continue. Okay. Yes, Mataji. Yeah, that is better. Yeah. Yes, Nagnesh Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
With review with everybody's points, I agree that we, for our own, to prevent us from our own downfall, we should know the other paths as well. So we know that we are following the best one. At the same time, we shouldn't be proud of what we follow. So we know, when we know about others and what all, because people follow other faiths, and each one, as Lord says, that as you surrender, so you get the result of it. But and each path, these are the paths even suggested by the Lord himself. So we should not be critical about people who are following these paths, because we are into a movement where we want everybody along with us. So if we say only my way is best, and what you follow is you, if you become critical, then instead of attracting a person towards us, we actually let them go away from us. So when we have some knowledge about what is that path, maybe we can make a comparison, but it's to know that we shouldn't be critical about it when we are talking to others.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Mataji. Yeah. So you nicely mentioned about the Bhakti, the best path. Yeah. So we should also understand that is best for us actually. Like one example I just give is, like, I'm North Indian. So for me, if somebody asks what is the best breakfast, so I will say, okay, aloo paratha and curd. Okay, that is best. But somebody says, no, the best is always idli and sambar. So which one is correct among them? Yes, Mata, you want to say? Among these two, which one is best? Nagnajiti Priyamati, I'm asking you.
Oh, so it is each one has, because of the region that they are, for both of them, what they have based on that place, Each one, for one, aloo paratha is best, and that is
Hmm.
actually based on the weather conditions also in the and in the south where it is idli. Based on the weather conditions there, that is the best for people.
Yes, yes, yeah. So I'm just trying to bring out one point that best is based on one's own taste as well as based on one's own qualification and his own adhikar and his own nature actually. So for us bhakti yoga may be best, but somebody else we have to understand that it may be that jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga or karma yoga that may be best. Okay, so obviously the yuga dharma is sankirtan. Okay, but we will have more discussion in future. Surely that is the Yuga Dharma, and and as Prabhupada says that nobody is qualified for other yogas. That is true, practically true. But we have to understand also that there we cannot force everybody as saying that Bhakti Yoga is best. Okay, and we cannot force everybody to take up immediately. Okay, we'll discuss more about it. That it depends on Adhikar also. Yes, Mataji, Deepali Mataji, you want to add?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, while preaching, many people came. So most of them, they don't know about this yoga system, different yogas.
Yeah.
So we can explain them. We ourselves are practicing.
Yeah.
Then I think that is the proper process.
Yeah, we can attract them. Yeah, and then they will get connected to bhakti. Yeah, that's very good preaching. Yeah, I've also seen like that. Yeah, many people they see the book Easy Journey to Other Planets, and they see, oh, arey, we can go to other planets just like this. Something will blast from here and we'll go. They see and they get attracted. But when they read inside, they can understand what actually content is of that book, and they get attracted to bhakti. Yes. So thank you very much for sharing. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to this. Yeah. So that's why Prabhupada is saying here, but to analyze Bhakti Yoga minutely, one has to understand these other yogas. Okay, that is 647. Yeah, so this PPT I'll forward to all devotees. Okay. So just to make one point, actually, how much we have covered of Bhagavad Gita, anybody knows? How much did we cover in the Bhagavad Gita first 6 chapters? How much verses or how much? If you know, you can tell. Don't have to do it calculation now. But how much have we covered? How much percentage? How many verses? Anybody? Okay, 40% of the Bhagavad Gita we have covered till now. Okay, and 6 chapters, first 6 chapters were little bigger. So 40% we have covered as of now, and out of 700, 280 shlokas we have already covered. Okay, and now, yeah. So I wanted to discuss about the introduction. Is introduction of Bhagavad Gita, was it discussed in the beginning of this 1 to 6? I think it was discussed by Rukmini Vallabh. Can somebody confirm whether it was fully covered or not? Hare Krishna. Introduction to Bhagavad Gita by Prabhupada was done, right?
Yeah, it was like initial thing Prabhuji has taken.
Yeah.
After that, he described it little faster.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
he described in detail what they say Gita Mahatma. He described in detail.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was discussed, no? And all of you might have read also once on your own.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So that we are not going to discuss. Yeah. So I'm just taking a part of the chapter 7 onwards. What we are going to do a summary of that. Okay, because we did not discuss that today. So a summary of what we are going to discuss in these 7 chapters. So chapter 7 onwards, as all of you know, this is titled as Bhakti Yoga. Okay. And in this chapter 7 is going to mainly focus about the Karma Mishra Bhakti. Mishra Bhakti we will discuss in little detail later. Okay. But we will discuss in the 16th verse. Okay, when we have 16th verse of this chapter, 7th chapter, then we will discuss. But as of now, just understand that we'll have in this chapter Mishra Bhakti. Few topics are there, and obviously the pure bhakti or kevala bhakti, which we say, that will be discussed. Okay, and then chapter 8 also there will be more specific discussion about yoga mishra bhakti. Okay, I'm just using short term now to save time. And then also keval bhakti will be discussed. Chapter 9 will be discussion about fully pure devotional service, which we say as kevala bhakti. Okay, that will be fully about pure devotional service. And as you of you know, this is the most important chapter, and it is the center of the whole Bhagavad Gita. So this is the jewel. Okay, and chapter 10 we'll be discussing about the vibhutis of the Lord. This is also called the vibhuti yoga or the Aishwarya of the Lord will be discussed in this. And chapter 11, very famous, there will be the discussion on the Vishwarupa. Okay, and also there will be discussion about the Kala Rupa, which is the moving form of the Vishwarup. And again, chapter 12 will be focusing on pure devotional service purely. Okay, no mixture. And the next unit, 13 to 18, there will be discussion about the Jnana part. What will be there in that will be the knowledge about modes. Okay, this Jnana is not exactly about Jnana Yoga. Okay, this Jnana is more about knowing. Okay, this is about knowledge. So modes will be discussed in that, and also Sankhya will be discussed. Okay, these are the main topics, and this will be relevant for whom? For whom this knowledge is relevant? Anybody can say? For whom is this required? This knowledge of modes and elements, material elements.
Like for sadhaka,
For a
like
sadhaka like us,
Okay.
who are trying to know Lord with
Okay.
jnana.
So all of you are saying it's required for Bhakti Yoga. What about
Yes.
other yoga systems? People, is it required for Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi? Do they need this or they don't need this?
Everybody needs it.
Everybody needs Prabhupada.
Yeah. These modes work on whom? Only Bhakti Yogi or others also?
No, it works upon everyone.
Correct. Na? So they also need to know, na?
Yes.
Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi,
Jnana.
sorry, and Ashtanga Yogi. It works on all of them. So all of them need to know about this is knowledge. This Jnana na, is knowledge. It's not Jnana Yoga. Generally, people get confused. So this is knowledge about modes, knowledge about the soul, knowledge about the Kshetra, Kshetrajna, all that will be discussed in that. So, but our study, we will have more on this 7 to 12, which is maximum. If you see about Keval Bhakti is here, and Keval Bhakti is here also, and this is about Aishwarya Yoga, Vibhuti Yoga, and this is Vishwarup Darshan. Okay, so many of the chapters are actually 80% I can say about Bhakti Yoga is only going to be described. Okay, so this I will share this PPT whatever I'm writing with you. If you're making note. Okay, so that we will be discussing throughout in the 6 chapters. I'm just trying to bring an introduction for the 7th to 12th chapter, whatever I read or heard from other places. Yeah. So now what we will do, we'll go to the introduction. I want to share introduction from one special book that is called Surrender Unto Me. Okay. So how many of you heard about that book? Bhurijan Prabhu's Surrender Unto Me. Okay. 2, 3. Okay. Almost everyone has heard. Okay. Yeah, it's very famous also. Yeah, I would want to request other devotees who are there in class, but their video is off. If you are available sometime, at least you should switch on. Like Isha Mataji is there, Mukund Pad Prabhu is there, Shreyas Prabhu is there. I see from beginning their videos are off. So
Prabhuji, some devotees have mentioned that they are doing some, they are engaged in GBC services. So they are
oh yeah,
here on,
okay,
they are
okay,
on audio mode.
okay, 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 no problem. So who all are there in GBC services? Those who are here in class or outside class there?
They are, some of them are there in the class. So I need to see Prabhuji.
Yeah, Kishore Madhaprabhu video is off, but he is interacting. But other three, I am not sure whether they are there also. Obviously, means if there is some urgent like this GBC services and all. But as we have discussed earlier, Prabhuji and Mataji, I really appreciate that all of you are very, very busy and you are having your occupational duty and some are like students and so many other things. But yeah, I'm really appreciating that all of you are taking out 2 hours Saturday and Sunday. But I will be more appreciative if you actually take out 2 hours, okay, and be in the class. Hare Krishna. Yeah, devotees can be in mute if they are not speaking. Yeah, so when you are speaking, you can unmute. Yeah, so better if you actually take out the time so that because Prabhupada has actually spent night. I don't have to explain. All of us know that same thing. I have to speak again. That Prabhupada has spoken and recorded all these things in his sleepless nights and done so much for all of us, and we are trying to understand. So Prabhupada has given many times quotes also that don't only distribute my books. Now book distribution is coming. We'll have all these quotes coming up. Don't only distribute my books, read them also. Correct. Before you distribute, we should read. Yeah, at least after distributing, we should read. Are people are taking, let me also read at least why they are taking this book. Okay. So I don't have to focus, and I think all of us know that importance of reading Prabhupada book. So, but I'll speak again, just to remind each other. Okay. So, and also actually we will try to make it a norm that we give attendance only to those who are present in the class with video, and we will not be able to give attendance for those who are not with video. So we are going to have, I think Zoom, we have a technology where we can mark the attendance in percentage based on their number of minutes the video is on. Okay, so if you are coming for studying Bhagavad Gita or other Bhakti Shastri books, then please come actually, be there physically and mentally both. Okay. So with that, I just want to share the introduction from the Burijan Prabhu. This book is Surrender Unto Me, and very, very beautiful classic. Actually, this book is where Prabhuji shares about his realizations and also he shares about his understanding of Bhagavad Gita, how he has went through this 27 years of journey of studying Bhagavad Gita. So he says that actually 27 years of his life he first spent in studying the Bhagavad Gita. Can you just imagine, like 27 years is a lot, correct? So 27 years means 1965 or 67 is the time he came. Just 1 minute. Are you able to hear me? Is it audible still?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay, just 1 minute. Some problem with my Wi-Fi. Yeah. So 27 years, Prabhuji speaks that he studied the Bhagavad Gita. Then he came up with the first edition of the Surrender Unto Me, where he made the outline of the book and then he made the flow of the book. So he did a lot of work on that, and it has become the one of the most authentic books actually, which is there in ISKCON on the Bhagavad Gita. So I wanted to share some very essential points that Prabhuji makes in this introduction. Okay, so we have another 1 hour. So we'll take little bit from this. Okay. So there is a foreword given to this book by Gopi Prandan Prabhu. So I'll be sharing the screen. Let me know if you are all able to see that.
Yes, Prabhuji, you can see.
See? Okay. Okay, I'll just little bit zoom in more. Okay, ज़्यादा ही हो गया. Yeah. So this is Surrender Unto Me by Burijan Prabhu. So he dedicates it to Srila Prabhupada. And this is a foreword by Gopi Prandan Prabhu, which we know actually he is very, very erudite scholar actually. of ISKCON, and he has been there since many years. He passed in 2009, I think. Yeah, so he has been there, and he is a very great Sanskrit scholar, also translated Brihad Bhagavatamrita and Tattva Sandarbha, many books like that. So from his forward, we will not be reading everything. I'll share this. You can read it when you are free. I'll take some part of it and we'll read it. Okay. So he's speaking about surrender unto me. And he's speaking about Bhagavad Gita specifically now. Okay. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So he says, what is so special about this one short book? So in this book, that is Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does not explicitly reveal that much about himself. Correct? He doesn't describe his intimate pleasure pastimes. Correct. In Bhagavad Gita is a book of what? Anybody knows? Bhagavad Gita is called a book of? Obviously it is song, but it is called a book of philosophy. Okay. It's not of pastimes. Okay. He doesn't say anything about his eternal kingdom. Or other than that, there is no need of sunlight or electricity, and that whoever goes there never returns. But he does address himself in the Gita to the conditioned souls, and in the material world, especially the spiritually unfit souls of the modern age. So just Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, and that Prabhuji is addressing. And in Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna tells, he tells them what they need to hear. So basically, Krishna has given the whole gamut of the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and also Bhakti Yoga. So as I mentioned few minutes ago, that these all are for not one people. They are for different people based on their adhikar. Okay, that we'll discuss sometime later. But whoever is qualified for one, take that. Okay, and go ahead in the yoga ladder. So he says in uncomplicated terms, why they should not remain entrapped the bodily concept of life, and how step by step they can become free and regain their real life. Anyone who is still a conditioned soul should be glad to hear these instructions on the science of liberation, because they were spoken by the one person most competent to teach them. They have all potency to transform the life of anyone who hears them with a little faith. Okay, so if you remember in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, in the introduction itself, Prabhupada said that at least one should have the faith. What faith they should have? That Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That one should accept at least theoretically. Okay. He spoke that in the introduction. Prabhupada writes, at least accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead theoretically. Yeah, then he says, those who are already liberated also release the personality of Godhead's words on these essential topics. Okay. And refer to them regularly while preaching. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah. So he's saying, I was informed by a predecessor of mine in Bhakti, in the BBT, Sanskrit department, of something that Srila Prabhupada once told him. So this is a very, very important insight which is given here by Gopi Parandan Prabhu. He is sharing that what Srila Prabhupada said. He's saying that Srila Prabhupada said that every devotee who wants to be a good preacher should become proficient in Bhagavad Gita. Even in his own morning Bhagavatam classes, Srila Prabhupada noted most of the verses he cited were from the Gita. Correct? So does anyone know which is the verse Srila Prabhupada cited the most in his classes? Has anybody tried to do the research? Which is the most cited verse of Srila Prabhupada? Good guess. Sorry?
Man Manada Mad Bhakta, because it has come twice in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 9 and 18 as well.
Yeah, that is also good guess. Yeah, actually quite good. Yeah, quite
Bhagavatam,
close.
from Bhagavatam Prabhuji, Savai Pumsa Parodharma, he says Savai Pumsa Parodharma from Bhagavatam.
From Bhagavatam, Savapumsa Paro Dharmo. No, we are talking about quote from Bhagavad Gita actually.
Prabhuji, I think.
Yeah, Shreyash Prabhu has raised hand. Sorry, Harsh Prabhu has raised hand. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I
Let
think
us give him chance.
chapter 7, text 1, Maya Saktamana Bharata, Yogam.
Third chapter you are saying?
Chapter 7, text 1, Maya
Ah,
Saktamana.
yeah. 7th chapter first, which we are going to start. Yeah, this 7.1 itself is the maximum quoted verse of Srila Prabhupada in his whole 12 years. The maximum quoted verse is this, which we are going to start, 7.1. Okay, so that's the importance of this chapter, this verse, and the whole Bhakti Yoga basically. Yeah. So I will send you a document later where there is a description which verse Prabhupada has quoted, and Sarvadharma Parityaja and Manmana Bhavamat Bhakto are quite close they are actually, but they are not on the top of the list, Mataji. Okay, so yeah, coming back to our introduction by Gopi Parandan Prabhu. Yeah, so 7.1 is actually the highest. क्या हो गया? Yeah, 7.1 is the highest quoted. Okay, so it was Bhagavad Gita as it is, the perfect instruction of the Supreme passed on to us by his perfect devotee. So we discussed, right, the parampara, how Vaisampayana spoke and then how Suta Goswami spoke, all that. Okay, that made most of us decide to enter the Vaishnava path, and then it comes down through Prabhupada, obviously. Now that we may have made a little progress, we shouldn't forget the book's importance. Which book? Which book we are discussing?
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, I'm just checking if all of you are awake. Yeah. So it is not just for beginners. Yeah, many times we think actually, yeah, Bhagavad Gita is for beginners, right? Yeah, obviously it is to start with. But what he said earlier, you remember here? He said,
One who wants to be the
for those who are actually, where is it? Yes, already liberated, also relish. Okay, that is a capacity of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because who has spoken? Is it any ordinary person? No, Lord Himself is speaking. So rather, it is the distilled essence of Upanishads, right? So as you said that Rukmini Vallabh shared about the Gita Mahatmya. So there is a verse also which says that Sarva Upanishado Gao Dugdha Gopal Nandana, correct? And Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta, correct? And then how it goes? Okay, something like that. So there it comes, that first line, that Sarva Upanishad Gao, all the cows are like the all the Upanishads are like the cows, and the milk is taken out by Lord Shri Krishna, and Arjuna is the Vatsa or the calf, and that essence of the cow is milk. That is Bhagavad Gita, like that. Okay. So he's saying rather it is the distilled essence of the Upanishads, of the exacting philosophy of Vedanta. It may have been placed by Srila Dvaipayan Vyasa within the entertaining Mahabharata, right? We discussed this, how he has placed it in the Bhishma Parva. And where did he place? He placed it just exactly before the war started. Correct. So, which is designated for the use of women, Shudras, and unqualified Brahmanas. So, this shloka is going to come in the 9th chapter. Okay. Striyo Shudra Tatha Vaishya Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. So, but it's being hidden in that fashion does not at all diminish its glory. Lord Krishna also affects himself in Mahabharata, taking a secondary role in deference to the Pandavas. So we know the role that Lord Shri Krishna took was a chariot driver. He did not fight directly. But when he finally reveals himself fully to Arjuna at a moment of crisis in the Bhishma Parva, we become doubtless as to who Krishna really is and who we are in relation to him. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll just do till here. Okay. So this new overview of Bhagavad Gita by His Grace Bhurijan Prabhu is a welcome addition to the shelf of books of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, Surrender Unto Me, offers valuable guidance in understanding the dynamic logic of Bhagavad Gita, the thread of the conversation from verse to verse. We hear from the great Gaudiya Acharya. So this is one important point which I wanted to share. Okay. There's some problem with the pen. Okay, yeah. So he is saying what this is important. Just be careful and attentive. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan, their elucidation. Actually, this parampara, I hope all of us know. There is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. From him comes Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan and comes down in the parampara. Then we have Bhaktivedanta Thakur and we have Bhaktivedanta Thakur who have written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. And then we have Srila Prabhupada, correct? So Baldev Vidyabhushan's guru is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is actually the Siksha Guru of Baldev Vidyabhushan. Okay, so he is saying we hear from the great Gaudiya Acharyas, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, elucidations that bring us closer to a full understanding of Srila Prabhupada's explanation. Yeah, so this is something important. See what he's saying? It brings us closer to a understanding of Srila Prabhupada's explanation. So reading these commentaries of the previous acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan, that can bring us closer to the Prabhupada's explanation, he's saying. Okay. This is Gopi Parandaran Prabhu saying. So rather than distracting from the glories of the Bhaktivedanta purports in Bhagavad Gita as it is, Surrender Unto Me turns on them a spotlight. So a spotlight on what? What is it talking about? So Surrender Unto Me brings out a spotlight on what?
Purpose of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. So he's talking about
Bhagavad Gita.
the purports of Bhagavad Gita by whom? By Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Yeah, so Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports, they are brought into spotlight. Okay, and what does Surrender Unto Me do? It shares the commentaries of the previous acharyas like Baldev Vidyabhushan and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And then we can understand that how actually Srila Prabhupada is not independently writing his purports. So Srila Prabhupada purports have come down from Baldev Vidyabhushan, and it has also come down from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and it is also having Srila Prabhupada's personal ecstasies, right? Okay. So does anyone remember whom does Srila Prabhupada dedicate his Bhagavad Gita to? Whom did Srila Prabhupada dedicate?
Baldev Vidyabhushan only.
Baldev Vidyabhushan.
Yes. Actually, he had dedicated to Baldev Vidyabhushan. And somebody else came and told Srila Prabhupada, you remember that past time where somebody came and told, actually, Swamiji, you have not written anything which is your own. You have just copied it from whom?
Previous acharyas. Vishwanath Chakravarti
Okay,
Thakur.
specific whom?
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
No. This past time which I am quoting.
Ramanujacharya.
Yes. Ramanujacharya, yeah. So he says that actually Ramanujacharya, you have taken everything from him. So that person was trying to criticize Srila Prabhupada. But what Prabhupada took it as?
That is only my success, he said.
Yeah, that is actually my success. That is the way that you are appreciating me. That Srila Prabhupada told there. Correct. Yeah. So now he is saying that actually that brings the Srila Prabhupada purpose into a spotlight. It doesn't act as a distraction. See, he used the word. Rather than being distracting, it brings it on a spotlight. I have no doubt that after studying Surrender unto me, devotees will better appreciate and understand the Gita. That is told by Gopi Parandan Prabhu. So I am trying to bring out a point that previous Acharya's commentaries, what Surrender unto me takes into, is actually very, very essential in our understanding of Srila Prabhupada's purpose. Okay, otherwise we will think Srila Prabhupada is just writing something on his own. No, we will see there is so much link and taken from the previous acharyas in the flow. Okay, so that was about the introduction part. Sorry, forward. Okay, so I want to share something from the preface of Burijan Prabhu himself. Yeah, so he shares here 4 points that how this studying of the Bhagavad Gita actually is very, very important for those who are in ISKCON and want to be good preachers or practitioners. Right, I think all of us who are there in this forum want to be either good preachers or they want to be good practitioner of Bhakti Yoga or they want to be both. Correct. Good practitioner, good preacher, both. Correct. So he is sharing 4 important points here, which is coming out from the Bhagavad Gita. He shares. So I'm going to share that. So before sharing those 4 points, he gives a background. Okay. So he says some people are not satisfied unless they understand how a thing works. Okay. So some of you may be in this category. I don't say everybody is in this category. Some of you may fall in this category who wants to know that okay how this particular thing is explained, how this particular thing is to be understood, and he wants to go deep into it. So he is addressing like his personality is like of these people, so they must know how its parts work and its pieces fit together. And they question, remain disturbed, and feel dissatisfied unless they find out. I am one of those people. And I am also one of those people unless we get the links of how this next chapter came about. Why did Lord Shri Krishna speak this verse here only? Why he did not speak it anywhere else? Why did Lord Shri Krishna actually uh, chastise Arjuna here? What is the thoughts of Lord Shri Krishna in the mind while he is speaking this? So all these things, my personality also is that I want to understand. So this part we skip. I request devotees to be on mute if they are not speaking. Okay. So here he comes, yeah. So while teaching a course on the Bhagavad Gita overview for a few years in Vrindavan and other places around the world, I discovered that other devotees not only appreciated a systematic presentation of the Gita's progression, right? We discussed just now yoga ladder, correct? So he's talking about yoga ladder, but were also helped practically by their study. I have placed into 4 categories the practical benefits of studying the Bhagavad Gita in the overview. So we'll not be able to take the whole detail, but I will just tell the points. You can read it later. A deep scrutinizing or deepened understanding of Bhagavad Gita allows us to apply Shastra in our lives. Okay. Generally, after a few years in the Hare Krishna movement, devotees consider the Gita a known book. After all, it covers our basic philosophy. Yeah, but many times the basic philosophy we forget. Okay, that's why we did revision also in the beginning. The ABCs of spiritual understanding. Yet Srila Prabhupada requested us to have more than a basic understanding, saying we should know Bhagavad Gita backwards and forwards, like the Christians know the Bible. Why? For preaching, certainly, but also because the answers to most practical questions in life are found actually in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Second point, he says, an increased appreciation of Gita increases our enthusiasm to preach. Okay. So first was about something which is practically applied in our lives. Okay. So this was the first point about our lives. And then second point he is saying about preaching. Okay. So study of Bhagavad Gita in overview, in addition to the deepening of our understanding and answering unanswered questions, adds fresh excitement to our appreciation of the Gita. The deeper we delve into this book, I found the more exciting it becomes. Okay. So read ahead. I'll share the document later. Okay. Third, we enhance our ability to practically apply the teachings on advancement in bhakti that the Gita describes. Okay, so this is the practical application part he's talking about. So he says about his experience as a Gurukul teacher, I learned that effective instruction must necessarily be addressed to a student's actual stage of advancement. So you remember I was telling about this Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. These all are actually instructions to the different stages of the person. Okay, and because they are in yoga ladder, so they are at different rungs or levels. We cannot tell the same thing to everyone. So instructions directed to what I imagined to be students level or to the group level of his classmates proved counterproductive. Okay, this is the important point. So it can be counterproductive if you say something to a person who is not at that level. Like Krishna himself told Arjuna, you should not give up your duty. You should set the example. Correct? Why? Because those who are not qualified will actually take the easy path of giving up all the duty and actually fall down. Okay. So there are more things you can read on your own. Fourth point. So drawing from the commentaries of great Vaishnava Acharyas connects us to our tradition. Right. So this is another very important point which I wanted to focus. So the commentaries of the previous acharyas, sometimes we may feel that it is not required. Prabhupada has given us everything. Yeah, surely Prabhupada has given us everything, but there is an insight which he is going to share. So please hear attentively. So he said the Hare Krishna movement. दरवाजा बंद कर दो. Just 1 minute, bro. Hare Ram. Yeah. So the Hare Krishna movement is not a new religion. Yeah. What does he mean by this new religion? He will explain here. Rather, it represents a grand tradition of Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan are our heroes. And we should get to know and respect the entirety of our brilliant heritage. Indeed, it was a Bhagavad Gita commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that struck Srila Prabhupada. So, does anyone remember which part Prabhuji is talking about? What Prabhupada is telling about?
Vyavasayatmika buddhi, that one, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Yeah, does anyone remember the exact statement which Prabhupada was struck with from this commentary?
Satisfaction of spiritual. I don't remember the exact statement, Prabhuji.
Yeah. You are very close. Yeah.
Like the satisfaction of the spiritual master is life and soul of a disciple.
Yes. Yeah. So here he's saying, he quotes that actually. And for, that struck Srila Prabhupada and further fixed him in his determination to satisfy his spiritual master and preach Krishna consciousness in the West. So the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is quoted here. And then he is saying, because of this commentary, actually Srila Prabhupada went to the West. He preached Krishna consciousness. The whole Krishna consciousness movement expanded. Then he came back to India. Then he opened so many temples. Then all his disciples came, and then their disciples preached. Their disciples' disciple preached, and then we came. Correct. Otherwise, we also would not have come. So he is saying this whole thing he quotes, and then he says the instructions. I'll take one part. The instructions of my spiritual master to worship the personality of Godhead by chanting, remembering, serving his feet, and so on are my only sadhana, my only sadhya, my only. Okay. So this is the point actually Srila Prabhupada was meditating on. Then he says, besides them, I can desire no other responsibility. Arna kariho mane asha. Correct? We sing in Guru Puja, not even in my dreams. Okay. So he is focusing on the Guru's instructions. So to most effectively study the Bhagavad Gita using this book, okay. So he's saying, okay, we should read it with the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Okay. Yeah. So there he focused about the commentaries of the previous acharyas and taking it in sync with Srila Prabhupada's. That puts a focus light on Srila Prabhupada's purpose, not as a distraction. We get to understand how Srila Prabhupada is following the previous acharyas. Yeah. And then finally coming to the introduction part. So here Burijan Pru is writing very, very important section. He is introducing what is Prabhupada's mood actually of writing Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita as it is, by Srila Prabhupada, with his Bhaktivedanta purports, is so uniquely powerful that thousands and thousands of souls have reached the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita by reading it. So why am I giving so much time in this introduction part? Because if we are not having very good conception about what is Bhagavad Gita, for whom it is, and what are the benefits in Bhagavad Gita, then we will not be having the focus in studying the remaining this 12 chapters. Okay. So I am giving so much time here. Even those without the association of devotees have been touched by Srila Prabhupada's translation and purports. I am sure many of you must have heard stories where devotees share that they distributed a book to somebody, then he read the book, and then he came to temple. He didn't have any association of devotees and have surrender at his lotus feet. Thus, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, as it is, fully empowered by the disciplic succession, is certainly the prime edition to be read and distributed in the age of Kali. Once, however, this is the interesting part, what Srila Prabhupada is saying. When asked what he would translate after the Srimad Bhagavatam, so we know Bhagavatam Srila Prabhupada is translating year after year. Srila Prabhupada responded, oh, maybe Jiva Goswami's Sat Sandarbha or Vedant Sutra. There are so many Bhagavad Gita, correct? What he's saying, he'll translate so many Bhagavad Gita which are there apart from Sat Sandarbha and Vedanta Sutra. A devotee spoke up. Srila Prabhupada, you have already done the Bhagavad Gita, correct? Bhagavad Gita is talking about the as it is. You already done. Srila Prabhupada replied, we did Bhagavad Gita, but there are so many commentaries. Srila Ramanavacharya, Srila Madhvacharya, everyone has given his Gita. We could do many Gitas, not just one. Okay, so this is incident related by Pradyumna Prabhu on a memories of Srila Prabhupada's video. Okay. So he says the Bhagavad Gita overview is thus drawn from Srila Prabhupada's verse, translations and purports and commentaries of the two great Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas, Sri Srimad Vishnacharya Thakur, and the commentary is entitled Sharat Varshini. So this is the name of the book of Vishnacharya Thakur's commentary. And Sri Srimad Baldev Vidya Bhushan, whose commentary is called Gita Bhushan. Correct? Baldev Vidya Bhushan and then Gita Bhushan. So he is explaining how he wrote the book. Now, one part of this which is very important. So Srila Prabhupada wrote in his purports to Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2. What does he write here? Very important. So here attentively this part. Within the past 500 years, many erudite scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vallabhacharya, and many other distinguished scholars, even after the time of Lord Chaitanya, have made elaborate commentaries on the Bhagavatam. The serious student would do well to attempt to go through them, better relish the transcendental messages. So this is very, very important. What he is saying, the serious student would do well to attempt to go through them to better relish the transcendental messages. As with the Bhagavatam, so also with the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so he is giving a very good focus here that we should not be speaking that okay, Prabhupada wrote his own Bhagavad Gita. that is actually infamy to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada has written his Bhagavad Gita based on the commentaries of the previous acharyas, and he very much adores the previous acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan. Okay. So this is the point I wanted to bring out. So in our study also, we will try to take some points from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan, and then try to understand Srila Prabhupada's statements better. Okay. Yeah. So I hope previously also Rukmini Vallabh Prabhu did that, correct? Yamuna Vilas Prabhu, Rukmini Vallabh Prabhu also shared.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So he was sharing from Baldev Vidyabhushan and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur both. Correct, na?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So now when we do that, there may be sometimes difficulties. So what difficulty may come up, he speaks here. While compiling the overview, I encountered the fact that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan and Srila Prabhupada sometimes presented differing analyses. So they give different analysis of the same verse. And what to speak of others, even Prabhupada gives different analysis. Can somebody tell what analysis was different in Srila Prabhupada's, his own purport about Arjuna's mood? In first chapter, he speaks two different temperaments of same person, that is Arjuna, in just 2-3 verses apart. What did Srila Prabhupada speak? First chapter he speaks. Okay, I'll give a hint. He speaks about the reason of Arjuna's not fighting is because of two things. So one he gives one kind of reason, other one he gives a different kind of reason.
Yes, Prabhu, ecstasy and fear.
Sorry, repeat.
Ecstasy and fear too.
Who's ecstasy? Arjuna?
Yeah, no, Prabhupada told one point that when hair stands on end, there is that when there is fear, or second is ecstasy.
Okay, I'm talking about different point. Prabhupada says that Arjuna has Vaishnava heart. Being a Vaishnava, he is very soft-hearted and he doesn't want to kill. One place Prabhupada explains like that. And other place he explains that Arjuna is influenced by the contamination in his heart. He explains Arjuna as a conditioned soul. And then he takes that analysis and then he explains that how he has a skin disease actually, and he doesn't want to actually kill his own family members like that. So remember these two contrasting points actually Prabhupada writes. One place he says that he is actually a very advanced Vaishnava, he has soft-heartedness for everyone. So I am not speaking about different acharyas. One acharya only can give two different analysis of the same person at different times. So it is not surprising that two different acharyas will give different analysis based on their time, place, and circumstance and all. So that's what he is saying here. Different analyses are there in different sections. In addition, many great Vaishnava acharyas such as Srila Madhvacharya, Srila Ramanujacharya, and Srila Sridhar Swami all wrote unique commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Although their explanations in places concurred, in other places they differed. Okay, so there are also differences. But we should understand there is something called difference of opinion, and there is also something called something is problem. Okay, what I want to write is contradiction. Okay, so these are two different things. So in the contradiction, always we should apply the word apparent. Okay, there is apparent contradiction. This will be clear below. In a conversation regarding the strong difference of opinion among the 5 great preachers who appeared in India, Buddha, Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, and Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada explained that no actual contradictions exist. Okay? What doesn't exist? Actual contradiction. But we may not be able to see that, then we may say it as apparent contradiction. Okay? We cannot say it as actual contradiction. Ultimately, the conclusion expressed by the acharyas is consistent. So, what is that that is consistent among all? We cannot say that they are all different fully. No, they are not all different 100%. that somebody says no, Shiva is God, somebody says no, Saraswati is God. Not like that. In conclusion, they all say who is God?
Krishna.
Yeah. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what all acharyas will say, correct? But
Yes.
they will have different explanations of the specific verses. Okay. They will also have, they will say that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the jivas are what? Servant. So these all essential things will be same. Okay. So then further he says, yeah, Srila Prabhupada, sorry, in the following conversation with disciples on March 9, 1976, Srila Prabhupada explained that seeming contradictory instructions may be given. So this is a conversation, very beautiful. Here, devotee says, in one of your Bhagavad Gita purports, you say, sannyasi should never discourage a young man from getting married. But we have understood that a sannyasi should encourage young men to remain brahmacharis. Correct? One place he is saying about getting married, one place he is saying about remaining brahmachari. So it seems some kind of contradiction. I think he could not complete his sentence and Prabhupada started answering. Yeah. So he should not discourage from getting married. At the same time, he should encourage to remain brahmachari. So Prabhupada says, just like Krishna says, Nityam Kuru Karmatvam, always be engaged in your prescribed work. And at last, he says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Correct? These are contrary, right? One is saying always be engaged, and another one is saying Sarva Dharman Parityajya, abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. Now, we have to adjust. That is not contradiction. That is suitable to time, circumstance. Okay. So this point is very, very important. Please keep it into your mind that if there is any contradiction you see anytime in the explanation of the acharyas, understand that we have to adjust them from the knowledge of our shastra, not from our material knowledge, not from our mind's thoughts, but we have to adjust it according to the teachings given in the shastras. So as per the time and circumstance they are teaching. Not only do the acharyas at times given different translations and meanings to the Shastric verses, Srila Prabhupada himself at times gave different translations and purports to the same verses. For example, Shloki Bhagavatam discussed in 2932 to 5, 32 to 35, and CC Adi 53. Okay, I think he has written like that, 53 to 56. Okay, so the translations, if you go and see, they are different fully. Okay. And then there are more technical details which you can read. I will share it later. We don't have time. Yeah. Yes. So basically, I wanted to bring out the point that actually there can be differences when we are studying and taking some points from other acharyas. We have to understand that it is because of time, place, and circumstance what they're explaining from and the point of view they see. So there is a analogy by which we can understand it easily, which all of you must have heard, that Vaidurya jewel or gem, when you see from different angles, it has different colors. Have you heard this analogy? Who all have heard? Raise your hands or write in the chat box yes or something, some way. Who all have heard this Vaidurya jewel analogy? Okay. Nobody has heard it. Okay.
Can you repeat, Praji?
So, Vaidurya jewel analogy, where the jewel is seen from different directions, angles. It can have a light blue light, some angle it will have red light, some angle it can be yellow or something. That analogy is given. So similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam, each verse has different explanation, different way of seeing by different acharyas. It's the same jewel. Like for example, I have this mobile. So if you see it from this angle, it has certain vision, right? If you see from this, it has certain vision. I can switch on the screen also, you can see. Correct. And then if I go back, then you have seen the camera. So it has different vision, but is the object same or different?
Same.
Object is same, na? Object is
Same.
same. But Yeah, object is same, but the experience is different based on the angle of view. Correct. So there is a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrit. So it says that Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhusht Sarva Ashraya. Okay. Krishna Tulya Bhagavat. The Bhagavatam is Tulya or comparable to whom? Krishna. Then he says Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nana Artha Kaya. Means Prati Shloke and Prati Akshare, every word and every shloka. Nana Artha means different meanings can be said. Okay. Through that. So it's the same shloka. So all of you must have heard that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke on one verse, but he gave 61 meanings. Which was that verse? 61
Atmaram
meanings.
verse. Atmaram verse.
Yes,
Atmaram
yes,
verse.
yes. Whom did he speak?
Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya.
Yes,
Sarvabhaum
yes.
Bhattacharya.
Sarvam Bhatta. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And later he spoke to Sanatan Goswami also. I think he spoke 18 meanings, which are completely different from those 61. So if one verse is there, it should have only one meaning, right? Correct? Na? Sarv dharman parityajya. How many meanings you have? All are confused, I think. It can have multiple meanings. We may have one meaning. It can have multiple meanings. Okay. So Sarv dharman parityajya, we don't have different translations, but there are many other verses which we have different translation. Okay. So how many of you heard this verse? Isha Vashyam Idam Sir. Okay, let's say Om Purnamada Purnamidam. How many of you heard that verse?
Everyone has heard
Prabhuji,
Prabhu.
we
We have
memorized
passed.
also.
I hope I took the shloka test and I remember many of you reciting that verse. I hope everybody has heard, na? Yeah. So how many meanings you know of that verse?
One meaning, Prabhuji.
One meaning which all
Yeah.
of you recited. Correct, na?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to share something here which may be okay. Is it visible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Other Acharya's
Yes.
commentaries. Okay. So reading other Acharya's commentaries and necessity we discussed just now. What is the mood of study, procedure, and pitfalls. Okay. So I'm going to just share one part of it. I'll share the PPT with you later. You can see. Okay. So basically, please identify which one is as it is commentary. I'm going to share here Bhagavad Gita. One example is there. Let me go to Ishopanishad. Okay, Ishopanishad. Yeah. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada's translation, as all of you have studied and recited, the personality of Godhead. Just 1 minute. Some problem with this. Yeah. Yeah. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenon world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. This is a translation to this. Om Purnam Adaha
Purnamada.
Purnam
Purnamada.
Idam. Ada means that, Idam means this in Sanskrit. Okay. So Prabhupada says that personality of Godhead is perfect. Okay, remember, and complete. Now, if I say further, whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Purnat, Purnam, Udachyate. Okay, Udachyate means to get produced. Because he is complete whole, Purnasya, Asya Purna. Asya means that personality is Purna. So because he is complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, Purnam Adaya means to emanate. What emanates? Purnam, complete wholes. He remains the complete balance. Purnam eva avashishyate means to remain. This is Srila Prabhupada's translation. What does Baldev Vidyabhushan say for this? Hear attentively. The unmanifest Brahman is perfect. What is that? Purnam Adah. What did Srila Prabhupada say? Purnam Adah? That.
Unmanifest Brahman.
No. What did Srila Prabhupada say?
Supreme Personality of God is perfect.
Personality of God.
Yes, I told to remember this point. Yeah, this is Adaha. Purnam Adaha. Okay, and Purnam Idam. What did Srila Prabhupada say? Idam means what?
This phenomenal world.
Yes, this world. Let's come to Baldev Vidabhushan. He's saying Brahman is perfect. Is it right or wrong? This unmanifest Brahman is perfect. Is it right or wrong?
Yes, it's right, Prabhuji.
Right.
First stage of realization. It is first stage of realization.
First stage of realization of Baldev Vidabhushan?
No. First stage of realization of the Lord.
Bhagavan realization.
Bhagwan's. Okay. Yeah, of any person. Okay. Baldev Vidabhushan, I hope everybody understands that he is fully realized. Yes. Okay. So Purnam Adha. Okay. The manifested Brahman is perfect. Idam. What did Srila Prabhupada refer Idam to?
This phenomenal
world. What is he saying? Manifested Brahman. Actually, this is also referring to the same thing. The phenomenal world. Okay. But this part was different. So yeah, I was making a point. Is it right or wrong? Actually, this also right. That is also right. But he is explaining a different view of the same verse. We have to understand. And which is more right? Prabhupada's explanation or Baldev Vidyabhushan's? Which is more correct?
Both are right, Prabhuji.
Both
are right. Okay. All of you seem to be very mature. Okay. Because I have heard statements that what Srila Prabhupada has written, that is the most correct. Actually, I don't know from where they get this philosophy. From the unmanifest Brahman appears the manifest Brahman as various avatars. Okay. Did Srila Prabhupada mention anywhere about avatar?
No.
Okay. So when the manifested forms emerge from the unmanifest Brahman, Purna se Purnam Adaya, the unmanifest Brahman remains. So what did Srila Prabhupada write there? Who remains?
The complete
whole remains.
Complete balance.
Okay. What is that complete balance he is referring to? Who is that complete balance?
Supreme Personality of God.
Yes, he is telling about Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not telling about Brahman. Okay, so Brahman remains. So is Baldev Vidyabhushan's explanation consistent in his translation? Is he consistent?
Yes, Raja.
Yeah, Brahman here, and manifest Brahman is calling as this, and another party is calling as manifest Brahman. Very consistent, but we have to understand he is explaining the other way of seeing the same shloka. Okay, so which one of them is an as it is translation? So the answer is both are as it is. Okay, so we have heard this Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. So three translations are there. Now that you have got human birth, now that you have completed performing all the prescribed duties, now that your study of kanda is over, which one is correct? So all three are correct because different acharyas are saying for different people. Somebody who is just at the level of karma kanda, for them they are explaining this as this way. Somebody who has completed his Nishkam Karma Yoga, for them the acharyas have explained this way. For those who have received the human birth, they have not started anything, no yoga. They have not started. So for them this explanation is given. So different people are there, and for different people different explanations are given as per time and circumstance. Okay. So there are also, as we understand, 5 explanations for the Bhagavatam. And who has given all these 5?
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
He has himself given. So first explanation, he establishes Bhagavan as the Vastu. Okay, we are not going in detail. You can see it later. Second, he establishes Krishna as the Vastu. Vastu means the object of the book. Who is going to be the object of the book? What is going to be explained in the book? Then third explanation, he says that Madhur Rasa is the object of the book. For that commentary there. And then he says this Radha and Krishna, they are the Vastu of the book. That is fourth explanation. Fifth explanation, he says, oh, Bhakti is the Vastu of the book. Bhakti is explained throughout Bhagavatam. So these 5 explanations one Acharya is giving. So all of them are as it is. And later he also compares Bhagavatam as a lamp. Adhyatma Deepam Atiti Tirshatam Tamoandam. Then as the sun he compares, right? Puran, Arko. Arka means sun. Adhuna Uditaha. And then also he's comparing the Bhagavatam to Mohini Avatar. Correct. So different people can see the same shloka in different way. Okay. So now the question comes is that what exactly is an as it is commentary? Which one of these is this? We answered both are as it is. What exactly is as it is in an as it is commentary? Means all are as it is, means as per different acharyas vision. They are all as it is, not that only Prabhupada is given as it is. As it is means that which comes in parampara. That's what we are saying. So actually all of them are as it is. So we have to understand these points. Every acharya has an apurvata, means a specific style of writing. They give specific emphasis based on the current socio-political and spiritual scenario at that time. So like Baldev Vidyabhushan was dealing with whom? Ramanandis. All of you know, right? That story. Correct. How they were saying that actually you cannot worship Radha and Krishna together. This is not there in any of the books. So you don't have a commentary also of your own. So then he wrote a Vedanta Sutra commentary. Correct. Yeah, Govind Bhashya. So every acharya we have to understand has a specific spurti or revelation given by Krishna. And who are these acharya? They are not ordinary people. They are given revelation by whom? Directly Krishna. Okay, so we will see the Bhagavad Gita when we are saying we can understand how the thoughts in the mind of Arjuna we will not know as sadhaka, but they being the eternal associates of the Lord, they know and they can explain it to us. Okay, so this what are his terminologies used we will discuss in the next class when we go into the first verse and the 7.16 shloka. So, but Baldev Vidyabhushan, his influence of Madhva and Ramanuja we can see because he comes from the Madhva background. Okay, and he has got teachings from Ramanuja also. And he gives elaborate and technically sound refutations of Mayavad. And he has the Sri Vaishnavas like Ramanandis, he challenged them. So therefore, a commentary which could compete with Sri Ramanujacharya's commentary in its Mayavad refutation and so on, he had to give something of that fact. So that's why when we read his commentaries, we can see that it is actually so much in line with Ramanujacharya. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, as all of us know, it's a Rasik Acharya, gives very Rasik commentaries like Bhagavatam 1.1, we can see 5 explanations. So sometimes he introduces concepts of Radha and Krishna even in Bhagavad Gita commentaries. Very relatable to Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And these terminology are what we will see in 7.16 when we come. And doesn't give elaborate and technical refutations of Mayavad because that was not required at his time. And then Srila Prabhupada in his own words when he gives. So Srila Prabhupada what he gives. Like you remember last time we discussed one example of magician. Does anyone remember that we discussed this example, Srila Prabhupada being magician? Yeah, can you
Yes,
say
yes.
Arun Prabhu what we discussed?
Like you told, magician as a head, and he
Hmm.
puts his hand in the head, and whatever you desire, he brings out. Similarly, Prabhupada in all the purports everywhere, he brings bhakti out and
Hmm.
serves to the devotee.
Yes. So we can see chapter 1 to 6. There may be so many other karma yoga, jnana yoga, and all going on, but Prabhupada ultimately brings it down to bhakti only and explains it as bhakti yoga. Yes. So he gives absolute emphasis on his purports. Correct. So there is a pastime where Srila Prabhupada wanted to print his Bhagavad Gita with Macmillan. How many of you heard this pastime? Okay. So in this pastime, what happens is Srila Prabhupada had written his purports and then he wanted to publish it. And then he didn't have translation of the verses. So Pradyumna Prabhu, he asks Prabhupada what, sorry, not Pradyumna Prabhu, Gargamuni Prabhu, this. He asks that, okay, what translations can we use? Srila Prabhupada said, you can use the translations of Radha Krishnan. And you will see initial books when Srila Prabhupada wrote, they had the wordings like the Blessed Lord said. Has anyone seen that in the previous version of Bhagavad Gita? It is there. The Blessed Lord said. So that is not Prabhupada's translation. He has taken the translation from Radhakrishnan. And he told, my purpose till the time they are there, people will not get confused. Okay, so yeah, so he has given absolute emphasis on his purports. Purports are most important, and then he says they are my personal ecstasies. Absolute emphasis on devotional service, as we saw, Bhakti Yoga. And he has maximum mileage in his books. What is the meaning of this? For the next 10,000 years, Srila Prabhupada's book actually is going to be the basis for the movement, correct? Yeah, so books are the basis. And then, yeah, this similar point. So why does Srila Prabhupada give so much emphasis? Somebody may ask. Okay, so I'm just going to take 5 extra minutes and complete this. Okay, then we will end. Okay, why? Again, same reason. Srila Prabhupada, when he's dealing with the current scenario versus the scenario at that time, previously, so there was a lot of difference. So he had to deal with scientists, he had to also deal with Mayavadis, he had to deal with professors and so many other people. So this is the ultimate conclusion of our scriptures, what Srila Prabhupada gives, that is Bhakti Yoga. And he understands that actually so many people cannot take the practice of Karma Yoga. There are no people qualified for Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So he wants that any person who reads his purports at any page, they should get the teachings of the Bhakti Yoga and start chanting Hare Krishna. So that is the very, very essential focus point of Prabhupada's purport. So example, in 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada does not want us to become an Ashtanga Yogi. You read the whole 6th chapter. There is no much focus about Ashtanga Yoga. He says after reading that chapter or parts of that chapter, everybody will understand this is about Bhakti Yoga. Okay. So I'm not going into detail of this. Yeah. So this last part of this we will do tomorrow. That what exactly is this as it is. So there are 14 things. There are 14 points which every Acharya has included in his commentaries. What are those 14 points we are going to see tomorrow? You take any commentary, 14 points of the Acharya will be there in that. Okay. And they will mention here or there somewhere, but they won't change these points. Okay. So let's discuss that tomorrow. Okay. So if you have any questions on last part, what we discussed, okay, then you can tell the questions in the beginning of tomorrow's session. We can take the questions and then go ahead. Okay. So thank you very much for joining and responding to the questions which we were asking and wanting to discuss. So thank you for participating enthusiastically. So tomorrow we'll meet again at 11:30. Okay. So please write down your questions if you have any, and we'll meet and discuss the same topic and then go to 7th chapter tomorrow. Okay, so as I told, I'm giving so much time for the introduction because I want to really make that very, very important point that how we are going to discuss these 6 chapters and how they are very important. What is the flow going to be and how it's very important. Okay, so anything Yamuna Vilas Prabhu you want to add or share? Any announcements or anything?
No, nothing, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. So
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
we'll join tomorrow. Thank you. Hare Krishna.